Peace and love to everybody listening. I'd like to rise and give praise to my Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'd like to give honor to the Prophet of North America, Noble Drew Ali, who taught me who it was that I am. And when I say Allah, I'm not talking about some man in the sky. I'm not talking about some whatever. I'm talking about the breath. You want to know how to eradicate racism? Stop focusing on the body. You want to know how to eradicate sexism, misogyny, and misandry? Stop focusing on the body. Stop focusing on what this person is saying. Focus on the breath, the spirit, the life force essence that's inside of that person. Is there a difference between your breath and my breath? I'm gonna just fast forward. No, there isn't. There's no difference between your breath and my breath. For that reason, when I breathe out and it goes out into the atmosphere, you breathe in. I sustain your life. When you breathe out into the atmosphere, I breathe in. It sustains my energy and my life force. So we're keeping each other alive just by breathing. Yet we still have the nerve to not like each other because of what we wear, how we demonstrate ourselves, whatever. The key to being a more peaceful person is to know who you are. And I'm not talking about what you call yourself, what you identify. I'm talking about, again, that essence, that life, energy that's inside of you. That's what I'm talking about. That's really you. Because this body, this thing is going to go. I just recently lost my mother. Well, actually, I didn't lose anything. Excuse me. My mother left the flesh. March 2nd, 2024. It's now April 13th. Her birthday's actually in 2 days. So just realize that. Her birthday is 2 days from now. Praise be to Allah. You have to understand that that breath is everlasting. I was actually there when my mother passed away. I was in the room when she died. I watched her die. I watched my mother die. You understand? I watched her leave the body. But me, knowing what I know that death is no enemy to man. Death is actually a friend. Death is actually a friend of ours, a friend of your and mine, okay? It's not a bad thing. I've known that now for a few years. It's not a bad thing. Death only means that the breath left the body. That's all it means. It means nothing more than that. Because again, that breath is everlasting. The breath will leave the body, and the body will just sit there. You can't be your body. Can't be your body, because if somebody dies and you talk to the body, does that person respond anymore? No. That person does not respond anymore. They're gone. Because the breath left. You are your breath. This. That being said, it's important to take care of this. It's important to eat right, go outside, get in nature, you know what I'm saying? It's important to get right with yourself on a physical level. But knowing why you're doing that, knowing the real thing that you're trying to sustain is far more important. You're sustaining a good environment for the breath to inhabit. This is a vessel. Almost like, think about this as a cup, right? This is a cup. The soul is water that you would pour into the cup, okay? The breath or the spirit is what causes the water to move around. The breath or the spirit is what causes the movement of the water to be fluid. The breath is an unseen thing. Even the soul itself can be perceived. People who meditate and stuff like that, if you meditate long enough and you get into a deeper state of meditation, there's actually a light. You close your eyes and it's dark. If you focus hard enough, you will find a light. That light is your soul. This is high science. Woo. Praise be to Allah. This is high science. This is stuff they're not going to teach you. But this is the ancient mystery systems. All the ancient mystery systems of the ancient world, this is what they taught. All the ancient systems of Egypt and, Kemet and the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Indians, pranayama, which means breath control, right? The Jewish mystery systems. What they won't tell you about the Hasidic Jews, shout out to the Hasidic Jews, man. Like the ones that they found them tunnels, digging them tunnels, right? What they won't tell you about them is that excuse me, it's windy out here. What they won't tell you about them is the fact that they do meditation too. They study the breath too. Have you ever heard about Kabbalah, right? The Kabbalah mystery system, which is actually a series of books. It's when you get into the Zohar, the Bashir, stuff like that. The Hebrew mystery systems. The four worlds. The four worlds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 7 Elohim. It's all the same thing. Aru and Duat in ancient Egypt or whatever, ancient Kemet, whatever you want to call it. Same thing. Higher self, lower self, all the same thing. Everybody studies the breath. Everybody studies the breath. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what mystery system you prescribe to. Everybody follows the breath. Everybody studies the breath. Why? Because everybody breathes. Everybody breathes. So that's why it's important to know yourself. I'm not just talking about your identity. I'm not just talking about who you think that you are. Excuse me, man, my turban is slipping and stuff. It's not just about who you are, who you think you are. It's about who you actually are. Now, that's on the whole spiritual, divine type level, right? But bring it down, right? How can we apply that? Because me personally, I have the belief that knowledge is useless. I'll be the first to tell you. I think knowledge is useless. Knowledge is useless without one thing. Now, one thing is called application. Okay? There's a difference between when it comes to spiritual growth, there's a few things that you have to be aware of. One is understanding, one is knowledge, one is wisdom. Some people say wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's the same thing. Well, it's not the same thing, but it's different steps of the same thing, which is your spiritual growth and development, right? Understanding is knowing what is real and what is fake. Okay? So when I say understanding, I'm not talking about comprehension. It's two different things. Most people, when they say understanding, they're saying that, oh, I understand. You're saying that I comprehend what you're just saying, what you just said. That's what you're saying. I comprehend, which is fine. Also, understanding is what you build yourself on. It's the rock on which you build yourself, okay? It does not mean something is over you. That's the problem with our people mentally. I'll get to that in a second. But our people who look like us mentally, we're so used to putting ourselves under, we can't even define words in an empowering way. When we say understanding, We psychologically put ourselves under, but you're the one defining the word. You're defining the word, but you still put yourself under in your mind. But that's something different. We'll get to that in a second. But your understanding, meaning the thing that you stand on top of, the thing that stands underneath you, is knowing what's real and what's fake. So anything that is physically manifested, anything that changes is fake. Okay? Or at least it'll pass away. Let me not say fake. It'll pass away eventually. Right? This body, it grows, it changes, it passes away. These trees, beautiful, but they'll pass away. They're going to get chopped down, they're going to wither and die, they'll pass away, right? Basically anything you see with your eyes will pass away. It's part of the illusion. In the Arabic system, they call it dunya. I think it's, I want to say Buddhism. I don't know. Further in the East, they call it Maya, right? Maya means mind or illusion. So it's literally what is caused by what you view in your mind, right?